Hello everybody, Glitch Reaper here, aka the original card game for the win, and yeah, I've been kind of had an interesting request, and I'm definitely going to do that. I've already kind of won the Friday Night Magic home event, which is singleton format. I just threw my I just threw my hunger and thirst deck at it, so my go-to deck for doing certain things has again just won through. So Garrick had a very good night. But yeah, the thing that was requested wasn't really so much the Friday Night Magic at Home event. What it was a wrong thing. I keep hitting the wrong spot. They wanted to know how to get
Good to see you again.
through a certain part of the color challenge, and I'm probably going to actually show off pointers with it here and there.
Nancy puts a little sizzle in my step.
So we're going with Chandra and against Ajani Goldmane. Now they were wondering how you got past this event, so I looked into it a bit and I found out probably where they might be going wrong. And the thing is, whenever you if you lose one of these events, it'll give you some pointers, and it kind of visually indicates where to do it, but might not be precisely right. And because it's not exactly like as the stage would exactly be at that time, or battlefield I should say, then it's going to be something where I'm going to have to just show it off. Oh, this field. It has a lot of interactables. Hello, kitty. Okay, so that's just something that I personally find interesting, is how the interactables work in these. I'll let him cast a few, but here's where things very specifically becomes a big deal. It's an early moment that you have to use here. You might be tempted to cast Spellgorger Weird, which is a good card, admittedly, but that's actually not how you get past. It's a little bit... I mean, it would use up all that you've got access to, but what you really need to do is to hold on to a point of mana. So instead, you have to cast Ember Hauler. And remember, these are pre-ordered decks in the color challenge. They are always going to act exactly as they do. It's the same on both sides. The computer will always play exactly the same cards in a row, and you will always be granted the same cards in draw order. Like, absolutely precisely. That will never fail. So, you have to know what they're intending to do when before the other side gains momentum. So, the next thing to do is to actually start attacking with your Fire Urchin. And Fire Urchin, you should note, has a couple of special traits. One of which is it has Trample. Another which is whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Fire Urchin gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Now, the two of these together would normally be able to kill it, but what you do is you wait for the computer to block, intending to do a block kill mark. The order here doesn't matter. And then you cast Infuriate on your Fire Urchin. The tip it'll give you if you lose the challenge is mainly you have to wait until your creature is blocked before you cast your spell, so that you can possibly defeat both of them, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. Is these early cards that are out also happen to be big on the life gain strategy. So the big thing about being a Johnny here is Chandra, is to keep getting rid of their life gain cards. Like, for example, Angel of Vitality. You might again be tempted to do the same. Well, you kind of do the same thing here. You start off with Spellgorger Weird, and you'll have 1 point of mana left. Now what you do is you pretty much just do the same thing over. At least this time. It's not going to be the same every time, but your goal is to whack that angel out of the way. So they'll block. You infuriate for a second time. And then you run the angel over and hit Ajani. But you have to wait until he blocks. And now we have another Charmed Stray and another Angel of Vitality, but luckily, we also have a method of dealing with that. At this point, it's a good time to put out your packmaster. In terms of getting rid of the Angel of Vitality, this is the time that you sack the Ember Hauler, because they can deal 2 damage to any target. So you basically roast the Angel. And this is where things also get interesting, is because you'll have your first opportunities to do some other stuff. Namely, it's a good idea to attack with both of these here, or at least attack with your Spellgorger Weird. Well, I think this is whenever you can actually do both. I'm trying to remember here, because this is kind of a step-by-step thing. I'm trying to remember past this, but there is a little margin for error. So, at this point, it would be good to... I'm trying to remember if I attack with Spellgorger Weird, or... Yeah, I think I'll leave the Fire Urchin behind right now. And attack with this. Yeah, that works. But you have to chip away at their health without letting them get their life gain seriously happening. Okay. Now it starts getting interesting very quickly. Because now the solution is actually not to attack with this, but to attack with your packmaster. Because the computer, for some odd reason, will let it through. Now, when you click here, wait for a moment, and then whenever it's blue, that means that it's actually past the point where they normally declare blockers. So it means that they're already allowing this to go through. This is a good time to activate Packmaster's ability, which is that it can power up every Packmaster on the field. By a point every use. And at that point, they will always cast Passivism on your Spellgorger Weird. Time to get another Packmaster out. Now, at this point, you should also note that you've still got a decent blocker here. Because this won't be able to fully get past it, but you will be able to attempt to use your Packmasters. It might be a good time to just use one, but this time I think I'm going to go with 2 and see if it still makes it past. So I can still activate the ability. Yes, I can. This time it's now basically 20 to 4, and they're casting a Dawn Shield. Right after this, you'll be receiving another Ember Hauler. You activate the ability, and you again burn the Angel. This is also the point where you can basically go all out with your Packmasters. Wait for it. And now you activate their special ability, and because there's 3 of them, that's 9 points of damage. And you win. So that's how that one goes. Also, I'd like to point out another thing about how this works. They have changed something ever so slightly with this, although it's kind of a big deal at the same time. You may notice that it kind of blinked on my quest thing, but didn't actually go through. That's because previously, the color challenge would actually count towards your quests, but because it's in essence single player, in a way, and not really a multiplayer thing, which is, the thing is, getting your quest done is mostly intended for multiplayer and events might basically be, well, events are also multiplayer, but it's basically on various things that would actually require you to be online at the time. which is something that is a big difference in balance between this and Magic Duels. In Magic Duels, there was a lot of quests you could do in single player, so if you were having a bad online day, you could still fulfill some of them, or re-roll them into ones that you could, at least. That's not exactly how it works here. Even though you'd be fulfilling the general condition, if you're not like doing something that would require online connection, then you're probably not going to be getting your quests on this. So it's just a special note to say that the way that you could have milled your quests before won't work, and this seems to have happened in the last update. So this is pretty recent, and this was probably with the update that allowed you to connect with this particular Friday Night Home event, or so. Or a few other things, too. Or it may have been the big General Ikoria update, anyhow. But also remember that this game does have automatic updates, and that's pretty much how it works. I don't know if there's any option not to, and I don't think it would work if you did try to avoid that anyhow. So there's some ups and downs with Magic Arena. I've been enjoying it quite a bit, but I could certainly say that I do, in fact, have a few criticisms. The inability not to quest whenever you may or may not have a bad connection, or you just don't really feel like doing online-related stuff, is something that I kind of see as a downside. I mean, it's very reliant on online connection. That's, I could say, my more in general thing. There's not really much single-player action. I mean, you could do it kind of like with Magic Duels, where you just can't add new stuff, like you can't really go to the store and get more cards and stuff unless you're online. That was always fair. I mean, they're doing as a cloud technique to store all your information, and later on it might wind up acting as Magic Duels, where if the game ever goes permanently offline, in terms of being maintained, they might decide to do a final update, kind of like they did with Magic Duels, that kind of allowed things to just carry on, even if they weren't quite the same. So it might go that way, I don't know. But that could be a long way down the road, because this could be an eternal game. They might just keep updating it forever, which would be perfectly fine with me. I'd definitely enjoy that. But it's just that we've seen what's happened with attempts for them to do online versions before. So, I'm hopeful that it'll keep going. I'm just not 100% with the confidence level. So, there's that. But as for how to do the event, how to do the color challenge itself, that was pretty much how to take care of that one. Now, if you've got any other moments that you're trying to get past in the color challenge, I will basically just kind of work it out for you, and then whenever I have the solution, I'll be back with another one of those videos and show you how it's done, how you get past that part. Because you gotta admit, normally whenever you do a duel, it can last for quite some time, and how they work, you might have a good turnaround in the end. But there's also going to be times where somebody just has too much momentum, whether they're an actual person or the computer. So the thing is that you might wind up having a momentum issue, and that's the thing about Ajani's deck. Ajani's deck gains a lot of momentum, so you have to cut the power out early on. So you have to kind of smack some of those cards that would otherwise give them heavy momentum as fast as you can. So it's about being very aggressive with that, but also simultaneously holding back a little and be cautious with exactly where you apply that aggression. So it's, in a way, a very particular way of red winning over white, although some of us already know it doesn't always turn out exactly like that. That's just kind of the, I guess you could say, the stereotype way of doing it. So it's just kind of funny how you can think about that. Now, another thing I'll just show quickly, since that went down so incredibly fast. This is just kind of for informational purposes and entertainment purposes only. Partially, I might add. We have a new pet in the store, and it's about as cute as my dragon level. I am pondering saving up for it, but 20 grand compared to the possibility of getting enough gems to get some of those promo Godzilla cards, I mean card styles, That's a tough call for me because I'm a huge fan of Godzilla and kaiju in general. But this cat is just so incredibly cute. Oh, the purr. I am, I am sorely tempted. Either way, I'm going to be saving up for one of them. But the thing is, you also will be getting a lot of packs out of this particular draft style that we're currently doing, and that's Premier Draft. And there's some others. They might go back to like the other draft ranked eventually, like they were for Theros for a while. But it's 10,000. However, you're again guaranteed at least 50 gems and a pack, and then it goes up from there very rapidly. Like, if the Ultra Luck Challenge comes out to being a win, like if I were to gain like a overly hilarious amount of momentum with those draws from the draft packs, then I would get 6 packs and 2,200 gems. Now, admittedly, it's 1,000 per pack normally, but the conversion rate to gems, you can't do that directly. That's kind of a hard thing to really factor in. But so you're still getting 4 less packs than you otherwise would with that. But you're also getting a boatload of gems that you might be able to apply otherwise, things that would normally take actual cash. Normally. But just the fact that they're allowing this now is kind of a plus side. I'm just not sure exactly how it's gonna turn out because it's a very different thing. Again, I wish you could just spend gold to get gems, but that's totally not where they're going with that. You can't do that directly. I could be wrong. Maybe in the future they will let you do that and just buy some gems at some conversion rate. But we'll have to see if that ever develops in the future. For now, that's kind of the news that I've got for now. So, and I have, although there is one more thing. I have heard that there will be other promotional events that have Godzilla card styles. I'm not sure if they're just talking about these drafts, because like as I showed here, every entry will include one of the card styles. Now there's only so many of those card styles, and once you get any card style, you will not get a repeat of it. It's something that will only be given once, but it applies to all your cards should you choose to activate that card style. So I've already got one of the card styles from a previous time whenever they had the free use, which was kind of an interesting little event, because they let you all have a draft on them, so that was nice. Of course, I could also see how that statement could also be a reference to a bar, but let's not go there right now. Because we're not talking about a draft beer, we're talking about draft play, so yeah. And I'm not even really into beer anyhow, so it's not like I really want to even think about that kind of draft. So, yeah. Well, somehow I just got myself onto that wrong tangent. Anyhow, as I was saying, so there's only so many card styles that you'd ever need to collect, so it's kind of a thing that you can do, and again, I'm caught between that and the unbelievably cute cat. I mean, seriously, it's been the most tempting pet since my whelp. So it might wind up happening. I might wind up getting the cat. But we'll have to see. I mean, there's a limited time to do the Godzilla thing, and I think the cat will probably stay on as a pet longer than that. So I might try to get a few Godzilla card styles first, and then if the cat's still there, I'll save up for the cat. I'll still be getting, like, other things, because that's what this kind of experience thing is for, is you just wind up getting packs and stuff. So, I'd still be kind of a sampling. But for now, since I've shown the challenge and kind of given off some of the news and some of the promotional temptations of the store, shall we say, I'll be logging off. So, hope to hear from you all soon, and bye for now, everybody. And remember, MTG forever.